The reciprocal teaching activity begins as each group's discussion leader passage selector moves through their first 6 responsibilities, which involve instructing the other 4 people in their group to complete their responsibilities. Part of each group's discussion leader passage selector's 6th responsibility is to ask the group's question generator to complete their question generation responsibilities for this excerpt of Hatchet. The video begins at this point. Notice in the demonstration how the teacher promotes student independence by having students discuss with their groups what they found.
David, your turn.
Here's my literal question. What things did Brian find in the survival pack?
Brian found a sleeping bag and a sleeping foam pad.
He also found cooking sets like pots, pans, and cooking utensils.
Brian found some dry matches and some lighters.
A knife with a compass in it.
A first aid kit and soap.
He found a hat with some writing on it.
What was the writing on the hat?
Cessna. It's the name of the plane, I think.
Yes, it's a type of airplane. My uncle flies one.
Anything else?
He got a fishing kit.
Brian found a rifle with bullets.
Anything else?
Oh yeah, food packets and an emergency transmitter.
That seems to cover it.
I wrote, what things did Brian find in the survival pack for my literal question, and sleeping bag, cooking set, matches, lighters, knife, compass, first aid kit, soap, hat, fishing kit, rifle, food, and transmitter for the answer. Does everyone agree?
Yeah, I agree.
That's good.
Here's my inferential question. What would be the most useful object to have if the emergency transmitter didn't work?
Definitely the rifle because he could shoot bigger game, particularly in the winter when the lake froze.
Yeah, but there are only 50 shells, and it'd be useless. I would say the fishing kit because he could always get fish to eat and could cut a hole in the ice if he needed to.
But he was trapping fish in a small area and using spears to kill fool birds already. He wouldn't really need either of those, would he? I think the sleeping bag because he could keep warm in the winter and prevent hypothermia.
Maybe the best thing was the first aid kit because he could take care of any injury he had to avoid infection.
Okay, it looks like there's a lot of good answers. I thought the rifle would be the best thing if the transmitter didn't work because he could shoot bigger game and perhaps survive in the winter. Do you agree?
Probably right, particularly if he couldn't cut through the ice. Don't forget the bullets.
I wrote, what would be the most useful object to have if the transmitter didn't work for the inferential question, and rifle and bullets for the answer. How about that?
The group continues to complete clarifier and summarizer responsibilities. After the clarifier and summarizer have completed their roles, the discussion leader passage selector leads discussion on the passage selected.
My turn to talk about an interesting passage I found. It was at the very end of the chapter on page 177. It's after the pilot shows up after hearing the emergency transmitter and asks if Brian was the boy who was lost. It reads, "My name is Brian Robeson," he said. Then he saw that his stew was done, the peach whip almost done, and he waved to it with his hand. "Would you like something to eat?" What do you think is so interesting about this passage?
It's weird that Brian was gone all the time and the first thing he thought to say is to invite the pilot to eat with him.
I think I would have hugged him and cried.
But why do you think Brian invited him to dinner?
Because he was so used to taking care of himself, it seemed almost natural to invite the pilot to eat with him.
I wrote, he was so used to living on his own and surviving well, it seemed strange not to sit down to eat dinner. Does everyone agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
In the next activity, groups continue to complete the other story components activity.